upsetting the luxury class. What does it even mean? I've got an Opel Astra here, and I hope I can answer that question in the next several minutes. Let's start with the big news. 5th generation Opel Astra is up to 200 kilograms lighter than its predecessor. It's as if 3 passengers got out of the new Astra. That's a huge difference. The new car is also slightly shorter and lower than its predecessor, but it's also wider. Boot volume remained unchanged at 370 liters. There are a couple of shopping bag hooks, and a spare wheel may be an option depending on the market. There is good legroom and headroom in the back for someone who's 175 centimeters tall like me. The floor in the middle is almost flat, so the third passenger shouldn't complain too much. There are USB sockets and seat heater buttons in the middle as well. However, upsetting the leather upholstery luxury is rather cheap plastic on top of the doors. Fold the back seats and you've got a flat loading surface, but when closing it, be careful with the seat belts because they can go back there and it's not very convenient. Now there is a place to secure your seat belt, but then the buckle is still over here and it may make some noises against this hard plastic. And once again, pointy doors just where a child heads maybe. On the other hand, you get really stylish sideline. In the front, the dashboard is finally clean with about a dozen buttons instead of several dozen. There is a digital display between the dials, which shows a lot of useful information. There are a couple of cup holders, electric parking brake, a 12-volt socket, USB port and a 3.5mm jack socket are under the armrest. I'm only missing a place to put my smartphone. But Opel has thought about that too. This is not a handle to open some hidden compartment. It's a rail on which you slide an optional smartphone cradle. Very clever indeed. Up here, above the rearview mirror, are 3 buttons for the optional OnStar system. What's it all about? I'll explain in a minute. OnStar is a system which combines emergency, diagnostic and information functions. If I'd press the SOS button here right now, I would be instantly connected with the OnStar emergency services and they would ask what's the problem, whether I had an accident or perhaps whether someone else had an accident. So I could report another accident and they would have my location and then they would send help to either help me or to assist someone else who had an accident. So that's nice. Should I have an accident in which the airbags are deployed, OnStar will call me automatically and they will ask me if everything is okay, and either I can tell them that no, I'm not fine and please come and help me, or I can say no, everything is fine, let me be. However, if no one responds to this, so they call me and I'm obviously unconscious and everybody else in the car is unconscious, they will send the cavalry to assist me. Yes, OnStar is obviously based on GPS. And should the car get stolen, OnStar will also help locate it. So if you're a car thief, I'd advise you to keep away from the new Astra. OnStar can also be used for diagnostics and for information. So for example, I can call OnStar and ask them to find me a restaurant or a petrol station, and they will find it and send it to my sat-nav. I will now give you the Polish supercut because OnStar works in the language that your car computer is set to.
Łączenie z OnStar. W celu poprawy jakości obsługi rozmowa może być nagrywana.
Opel Astra, Łukasz z tej strony, czy mogę pomóc?
Dzień dobry panu, Marek Wieruszewski z tej strony. Poszukuję stacji benzynowej w okolicy.
Najbliższej stacji benzynowej, tak?
Tak jest.
W takim razie już wyszukuję panu.
There is also an OnStar mobile app which lets you remotely check the oil condition, tire pressure. It lets you lock and unlock the doors, check the vehicle location, or send destination to your sat-nav. I suppose the only problem with OnStar, the elephant in the room, is related to privacy. Although I can partially disable the system with this button here, so that they can't track my location, if I have an accident, the airbags are deployed, they will know where I am. And yes, that's very good, but I can imagine a situation in which someone hacks the system, or perhaps a government agency wants to track me via OnStar. I know it's a bit paranoia, trust no one shit, but I come prepared. OnStar is offered in a dozen countries or so across Europe. There is soon going to be a software update which will allow you to use it as a 4G Wi-Fi hotspot. Depending on the spec, OnStar may be a €500 option, or it will come as standard on higher spec models. And there is a subscription fee which will vary from market to market. Okay, I don't see any satellites, so I think I can take this off for now. OnStar falls somewhere between BMW's concierge and Audi's intelligent voice recognition. BMW will not only find you a restaurant, but it will also reserve a table for you. And Audi, well, it has a relatively intelligent electronic assistant, which will understand more or less what you're talking about, and you can see how it works in the Audi Q7 review. So, the Astra does upset the luxury segment. Other luxury upsetting features include ergonomic seats with massage and ventilation, as well as intelligent LED matrix headlights, which will light the road but will not blind the oncoming traffic. Under the bonnet of this example is a somewhat less luxurious 1.4 petrol engine. It's turbocharged, it produces 150 horsepower, it comes with stop and start, but that's also an option. You can choose this engine without stop and start. And with this stop and start system, it's supposed to do about 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers in the urban cycle, but in my non-scientific test cycle, I found that it will use about 6 and a bit liters per 100 kilometers in the combined cycle. The 150 horsepower engine propels the new Astra from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 8.5 seconds. It is relatively flexible, up to about 70-80 kilometers per hour. Above that speed, you feel a bigger displacement wouldn't hurt. The gearbox is fine. It's precise, it's slick, not very sporty, but good enough. The suspension is comfortable enough on bumpy roads and stiff enough around the bends. The car is relatively quiet. My only concern is with the brakes, which do bite a bit too low. The steering is a bit of a surprise though. On the one hand it's quick, but on the other hand it's also very vague. I find myself correcting input around the bends, and it's a shame because my first impression was very positive, with the Astra bringing a smile to my face. And the last time I smiled in an Opel was... what was it? I think it was the Vectra OPC or VXR, depending on the market. So that must have been around 10 years ago. At the start, I mentioned the color display between the dials. Besides standard information like fuel economy, tire pressure and so on, it also tells you the distance from the car ahead in seconds. It's an eye-opener, especially on the motorway when you realize how close you are to a serious accident. Don't forget that at 60 kilometers per hour, you're covering about 4 cars' lengths in a second. Prices of the new Astra start at around €17,000. The top spec 1.4 150 horsepower stop and start version costs around 25 grand, plus 3 to 4 grand worth of options. This is where the base Mercedes-Benz A200 starts. Give the Merc the same options though, and you're in the 40s range. So, can you say the new Astra upsets the luxury class? Well, it definitely offers a lot compared to the premium compact car segment. However, I would hold on to my 7 Series for a while longer. And how about you? Do you like the new Opel Astra? Perhaps you own one of the previous generations. Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. New episodes every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.